Hey there, fellow crop enthusiasts. Welcome to my journey through the world of agriculture and balanced planting schemes. My name is Albert, and on this channel we will take a deep dive into the exciting world of urban farming. I'm on a mission to find a way for plants to sustain their own ecosystem through balanced planting schemes. Please join me as I learn more about plant nutrients and crops in general. It's a sunny day in South Africa. However, today you may notice that we're starting inside. So on today's vlog, we're focusing on table scraps and how to plant them. We've got quite a few here, and we've also got some potatoes, so we'll go ahead and plant a new potato box. So come along and let's get going. So let's get started with the tomato here. You'll see it's just a partial tomato that I had lying in the fridge. So we're just going to scoop out the seeds like this. Really just scratch them out. Then what you will see is we've actually got a bit of a juicy acidic mess left over here. So in order to deal with that, what we'll do is we'll get some kitchen towel and a sieve. We'll just put these guys in a sieve. We'll just use our hands. And what you want to do is you really just want to push through the juices until the seeds remain. Then once you've got most of the juices out, and you've got only seeds left, you can take these little guys and you can transfer them over into a paper towel. Ideally you'd have far less juice left than that, but since we recently planted tomatoes, I'm just going to go through the general process of this. Then you could just try to separate them a little bit, because once they've dried they will be a little bit hard to get off of the paper towel, but that doesn't matter because the paper towel will biodegrade. So yeah, then you can just leave them out in the sun until they've dried, after which you can plant them. that's a very simple thing you can do with a leftover tomato. We've also got this leftover onion here. Now this guy is pretty simple. We're really just going to put this guy in the ground just as it is. All you got to do is make sure you take the bottom and not the top. The top would be the pointy bit, and the bottom you'll see it looks a little bit like this. That's where the roots will come out. So we're just going to put this guy in the ground, and for the pepper, I'm just going to cut this guy in half again. And we're really going to do something similar as to the tomato. We want to just cut those seeds loose. We don't need both of these. We've not planted these before. So what we want to do is again just scratch off all of these seeds over here. These don't have any nasty juices to worry about. No weird acidity. So we're just gonna put them straight onto the paper towel so we can just plant some of those. Then next up we've got this ginger. Now again, this guy we're just gonna put straight into the ground. However, before we do, we just want to cut this guy right through here, as these two rhizomes over here will probably create their own plants if we're lucky. So let's increase our chances by chopping it in half, and then we'll plant it just like that as separate plants. Then we've got a similar thing with the potato. You'll see these are potatoes that I had lying around, and they've started to grow little potato seedling eyes of their own, and they're still very small, but ideally that's fine. You can start planting them. I'll probably leave these so that they can grow a bit more. I've got another one here that's a bit of a better example. You see this guy has grown significantly, and it's actually got a second one. So again here we could cut this guy in half before we plant it. Now as a far better example, what I'll do is I bought these seed potatoes. You can see this guy has two separate seedling eyes. Again, we'll chop this guy in half, and we'll do that for all of our potatoes, because each of these can turn into a separate. This guy only has one, so we'll keep it like that. One, keep it like that. Here we go, another. In that way you can turn your potato harvest into a larger potato harvest just by simply cutting these eyes. Quite a lot of them seem to just be singles, and that's also fine. You can also just plant them just like that. You don't have to go ahead and do all of this effort. And they can have more than two. It is possible. Right, then that's our potatoes. We've got a few more of those, but the others are all single eyes, so we will just plant those just like that. And then lastly, just clean this up a bit, we've got some garlic. Now with the garlic it is a little bit more effort. We will have to take these out individually. You can plant them just like this. However, it is for each clove that you plant, you can get a whole new plant. So it is far better to just go ahead and separate them. We'll just do one. Unfortunately, I had to go buy a new one. I was straight out. So we'll just go ahead and we'll flip these cloves. You only have to take out the outer layers a little bit. Just split these guys up. You'll see we get quite a few. Oops, there goes one. Pick that one up later. We'll get quite a few clothes out of this. Remove some of this out of their packaging. The more you remove, the better it will take. See, there's a little split one there. There we go. Remove some more of this layering. This will just prevent the water from coming in. So again, the better you remove this, the better you will get, the faster it will grow. Right, so that is our table scraps. Let's get outside and put them in the ground. Right, I put together some soil for us. We don't have to add too much. And you know, just give it a good mix. Now, one of our containers is already pretty full. I just want to make it a little bit fuller. Cool. Let's do the others. As we're emptying this container here, we will use it for the potatoes. So it's good that we empty this large one as well. Right, that's 2 small ones. Let's do the last one. Right, there we go. For those 3. Let's get some more soil. Now that we have our containers filled, I fetched our tomato seeds and our seeds, our pepper seeds. So
let's just make some space for them in this one over here. We're not going to use all of these. Right, then we've got cover these up, and we'll make some space for the tomatoes on the side. Again, I'm just going to plant a couple of these because we've already got some. There we go. I'll put these spare ones away in a small container so that we can plant them in the future if we need to. But for now, I'm just going to fold it together and put them in here. Right, so that will be our tomato and pepper box. Move that out of the way. Then next up, let's do this box over here where we will put the garlic. And again, I'm probably not going to plant all of the garlic that we had, and these can go relatively deep. So I'm just going to plant about 6 cloves. Actually, I'm just going to plant about 4 cloves here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the ginger in here with them, and we'll see how that works out. So remember, with the ginger, you need to point them with the rhizome up. Then that will be our ginger and garlic box. In this box over here, I'm going to only put the onion, put it nice in the middle. Again, I'm going to put it nice and deep. Right, and then those are our small boxes. Then we'll move on to the big box over here. Now, I've got a bit of quite old soil in here left. And I know for a fact this is potassium rich because I've previously had tomatoes in here. And I've actually tested it with the soil kit. So what I just want to do is loosen the soil a lot. Because no plants like this kind of compact soil. So before we put in the potatoes, we'll just flatten this out and loosen it up a bit. Right, I think that should be fine. And we'll just take these potatoes, and again you want the eyes pointed up. We'll probably again not plant all of the potatoes in here. You can get surprisingly a lot in. I'm just going to go for fewer this time. In the previous one, I planted 5 kilograms of potatoes across 3 of these boxes. So this time, I'm just going to put a lot less For those, I had a grid of 9 3x3. This time I'm going to go for far fewer because I see a lot of those did not make it. So I'm just going to do those. A couple like that. I just want to push this one a bit deeper. There we go. Right, that'll be our start, and then that will be our kitchen scrap box. So now that we've had a brief foray into planting kitchen scraps, let's have a short discussion on nutrients as additives. The three main nutrients to consider adding are nitrates, phosphorus, and potassium. You can find these at most gardening centers across the nation, as well as hydro stores. The most important thing to consider when adding these nutrients are ratios. Ratios are very important, and each plant requires its own mix. When you go to garden centers, you'll often see pre-mixed bags that have ratios like 1:1:1 or 1:2:1 or 24:1:1, along those lines. That just means the ratio of nitrates to phosphorus to potassium. And if you look on the bag, they will tell you usually which plants to use them on. But you can get these nutrients and add them yourself in the ratio required for that plant. I will add a Google Sheet to the description of this video where you can check general vegetables and what their ratios are, and that sheet will also tell you what the main nutrient is for that plant. Is it potassium heavy? Is it nitrate heavy? And then you can go along from there and mix your own. You can use organic mixes that you can find across the nation as well. I will add to that sheet which additives you can use as organic additives as well. And then you can make your own mixes and add them. Personally, I prefer to, as the channel description says, develop and cultivate an environment of plants that create the nutrients required for each other. That is the goal of this channel. However, if you want to go ahead and add the nutrients yourself, that is what people generally do. You'll see a lot of the other gardening channels go ahead and add these things. There's nothing wrong with that. You're welcome to do that. I am just trying a new experiment where I'm trying to get plants to kind of take care of themselves as they would have probably done before humans existed. Before humans existed, the only form of nutrients they would have gotten is that from other animal byproducts, and that would have been a lot rarer. So they would have grown in clumps where they would have also kind of fed each other, and that is what I'm trying to recreate in a somewhat symbiosis between nature and science. We'll see where that goes. But yeah, I will in the future make a video that focuses on adding these additives in their ratios as required for different plants as well. I'd like to take this moment to wish all the women in South Africa a happy Women's Day, and indeed across the world. And that brings us to the end of this video. I'd like to thank everybody that watched. Please leave a like and subscribe, a comment if you have something to add, and I'll see you on Sunday. Goodbye.